Welcome to Leadership Spotlight, a podcast that shines the spotlight on L&D and HR leaders from leading businesses around the world. Learn the ins and outs of everyday leadership, what it means to be a leader, and all the learning and skilling that goes into making a successful leader that you would like to follow. So lean in and lead on. A result-driven L&D professional helping individuals, teams, and leadership figure out their why while equipping them with the how. Rohit Bhasin, Learning and Development Manager at Doha Bank, has over 17 years of progressive work experience in a diverse multinational work environment. His organizational savviness, ability to engage and influence senior teams and the C-suite, expertise in implementing and streamlining innovative LearnTech solutions for organizational learning and training is rooted in his passion for people and performance enhancement. He walks the talk on empathy, compassion, people-first approach in his personal and professional life as he strikes a balance between work and fun through mindfulness, meditation, and gratitude practices. A well-kept secret to his success, growth, curiosity, and optimism that he reveals in this conversation. Hi, Rohit. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Pranjali. Thank you so much. Really excited for the opportunity.
So, if you had to peel back the layers of your designation, your title, your professional role, what does the real Rohit Bhasin look like? What makes him tick? What are his aspirations? Tell me about him.
That's an interesting one. So I've been working for almost 16 years now, and in 16 years, whenever I've got chance to, speak about myself, I'll always, as you said, mostly it's the layers that we have got over the period of our titles and roles that we have played. But yeah, real Rohit Bhasin is a natural, how do I put it exactly? Is a natural promoter or influencer who basically, since my early childhood days, so I've been in a habit of, helping or supporting my friends or doing things for with my cousins, helping them out with their, struggles related to studies or related to their whatever, sometimes struggle with their pocket monies and all. So because I was coming in from a background from a business family, so my dad was always, I have seen him doing all this stuff. So I had that entrepreneurial mindset since childhood. So I think I've always been a person who is there to support others, help others, being with others. So that's what the real Rohit is all about. So it's very optimistic, looking forward to listen to people's problems and suggestions, and this way I think that's what the real Rohit is. Yeah, very outgoing, very sociable since childhood until date. I enjoy doing that. I'm fond of traveling, reading. Those are still my favorite hobbies. So whenever I get time, I either plan a trip to a location where I've never been before, and we make it a point. I do it at least twice a year, and I read, even though avid reader, but yeah, I still read. And I've started following off. So I was practicing yoga since childhood, but not regularly. So got initiated through Isha Foundation now. So I've started practicing yoga from last 4 or 5 years regularly. So that's what real Rohit is all about. So I'm excited about spirituality in my life now.
That's interesting, Rohit. And knowing you, I can vouch for all of these. And I also see how all of these attributes render to where you are currently in your professional growth. So your academic background includes HR management. You also studied L&D management, marketing, sales, and you have this further strengthened by your 17 years of experience in a diverse multinational work environment. What attributes do you credit for this tremendous growth and success?
As I said before, my upbringing, which has helped me or turned me the person I am today. So my upbringing allowed me to build a kind of growth mindset since my teens. So I was always a kind of boy who was busy planning what we should do and what I'll be doing when I'll grow. Even if I'll join business, I had other plans to learn, especially selling skills. So when I graduated, all my batchmates or my close friends were excited about joining the IT because that was the time everything was turning. This internet was in 2001. So at that time also, I chose National Institute of Sales. I did my diploma in sales. I wanted to really learn the art of selling. So I think my growth mindset since my early days, and plus my habits, which is basically like goal setting or decision making. So I always used to take decisions quickly. I had goals written down since my early days. And I was very optimistic and positive mindset. So I think all these combined together crafted the personality that I have and which helped me over the years in my growth and success. And of course, there is compassion and love towards learning that's always there since early days. So I always wanted to be a trainer. In fact, I attended my first, when I got my internship with Hyundai Motors, and I went for my first day of internship. There was a guy called Sudipto Banerjee. He was my first trainer ever in life, professionally. So, and I was so hooked up, so mesmerized, spellbound that I bought a book called You Can Win, and I was reading that book at that time. I had it with me. I immediately took that book and wrote that I want to be in your foot, in your shoes one day and want to be a great trainer like you. And I gifted him. And that's how I got my first acquaintance with a person who gave me that strong foundation that yes, this is a role which can create impact and can lead to a change. So I want to be like him. That's how I started. And since that day I decided that's what I want to be, and that's how gradually I became sales trainer and then became a lead trainer, and then so far I came all the way from India to manage the training center for Doha Bank. So I think that's the journey has been great. God has been kind, and so I give the credit to all these attributes together, like my upbringing, growth mindset, my goal setting habit, my decisions making, which I took the decisions, I never, kind of fumbled on that, and my optimistic and positive mindset combined together made me a person I am. And I think that's what the credit goes.
Rohit, you mentioned about having a mentor. You said you had a book from Shiv Khera, You Can Win, gifted to your mentor. How do you think mentorship plays into training or learning and development today?
I think it's very, very important, Pranjali. If you have a mentor, your entire drill becomes really easy for you because you have somebody who can, give you direction and support and exactly tell you that, this is how you should be doing. And then you always get a perspective from third person on your shortcomings, which most of the time you don't see yourself. Even if you know them, but you kind of try to hide them. But this person can upfrontly tell you that this is the area where if you focus on, you can, just go above the edge. So I think having a knowledge and a skill set is one part, but having a mentor with that would make it to a craft level, will make you an artist, basically. That's what the power of mentorship is, or coaches is. So I think everybody should always look forward to somebody who has done it in the past and can help you in getting that. So I believe in having mentors and coaches, and I've got really few in my life which have really helped me, and they are still there with me. So yeah, the journey becomes really easy when you have mentor along with you, and probably guarantees the success faster.
Absolutely. You raise a very valid point, Rohit. And this to me points to a notion that we are all familiar with. There is something called as practice, and there is something called as deliberate practice. A
Absolutely.
key element of deliberate practice is having someone like a coach or a mentor that can show those corrections or those enhancements or improvements to you that otherwise are not seen.
Absolutely. You just bang on, like that's exactly what the coach and mentor does to you.
Another point you mentioned was about compassion, about having empathy and love for what you do. Do you think these are the prerequisites to a L&D or a HR role? And my part two of the same question is, can they be taught?
I think these are not only for L&D, but for any role you play in your life. If you really want to be a good human, I think compassion is an empathy is a foundation for your character, irrespective of a role, whatever you are playing, not only L&D or HR for that matter, any role for that matter, you just need it. And if you just learn them, yes, that can be taught. I'll tell you a simple example. When you have a motive with someone, and you know that this person can give you, the best of your empathy comes in, and you take proactive step to get, because you know that you have a motive, correct? So whenever there's a motivation, the best of you always comes in, correct? So what I'm saying is that if you start practicing this, that everybody is important and everybody is, we are absolutely living in a world which is all about inclusiveness. So yeah, I think these are the basic character traits that one should always have, or these are very much learnable, yes. So you can learn compassion and empathy by doing small act of kindness every day, and it just comes in. If you start intentionally participating in that, it just grows, and you get a good feeling after doing that. So it even multiplies more. It gives you a real joy. So I think it's everybody should just be practicing it every day. You should be gratitude, compassion, empathy, loving yourself are the basic foundation that everybody must have.
Agreed. And I think for all the wrong reasons, perhaps sometimes gratitude or becomes correlated with selfishness, while it is more about selflessness. So let's continue speaking about empathy and compassion, but this time in line with the new normal that we are in today. What can people-centric functions, again, we can refer back to L&D or HR, what can they do for the people in these times to alleviate anxiety, increase motivation, increase engagement, and so on?
I think first and the foremost thing is that they need to seek the alignment of the employees, alignment of the organization, how things have changed drastically for everybody. So alignment in sense of well-being, mental health, and alignment in sense of business organization agility and strategic clarity. So this insight has to come. And second thing is, of course, the collaboration. This is a time where you don't have to think about the competition. Everybody should come together and should collaborate with each other to redefine the new normal, correct? Because the things everybody is going through the same challenge right now, irrespective wherever they are. It's just the emotions are different, but on a surface the problem is common. So effective collaboration, alignment, strategic clarity, and insight of what we really should do together is, I think, we should do as a HR and L&D leaders. And of course, optimizing the organization capacity significantly is really important right now.
Agreed. And because we are on a topic that is so critical right now to all of us, and because you are in a role that is playing a key function into how people are helped during these times, I'm tempted to ask you, how are you able to find a work life balance? Because it's something that all of us are struggling with, given that we are working remotely with all of the lines between work and personal now blurred. It's always a struggle. What is your mantra for it?
So how do I keep balance? In fact, I think this is the best time wherein you can slow down and you can, think about what you are doing. Is it really gonna make difference, both ways, top line and bottom line, and just think of more constructive way to impact on a bigger scale. So I think what I've done is I've just stepped back in sense of understanding what we were doing before and how is it really relevant now to follow the same plan. So we have changed drastically in our strategy at the bank right now. We are looking at the more learner centric rather than what we wanted to derive as an organization before. So we have sending a lot of well-being communication to the staff. We are telling them how to cope up with this work from home situation, correct? So I am designing these communication, I am also reflecting on myself, that how I am doing it, what are my challenges, correct? So what practices I have inculcated, which I should share with them. And same way, I'm speaking to other experts, other colleagues, what they are facing and what is their feeling about it. So that's how I'm, redefining the entire thing. So I'm shifting my focus from a longer vision to right now what we should do right in the moment, which would gradually build up. Because right now, see, situation is dynamically changing. We are working on a very minimal manpower. 20% manpower is allowed to be working from office. 80% is from home, and that's too. They are going through a phase wherein they are mentally not as stable or strong. Everybody has their apprehensions. From everywhere, the news we are hearing is about job cuts, salary cuts, post leaves, and all that. So, and during this time, it's very important as an organization, we should take care of the employee first and then gradually guide them towards how they can be useful. So, talking about the work-life balance, so I make sure that I start my day usual. So, whenever it's my working hours, it's my working hours. So, I make sure that I clock in at the same time. I've got a dedicated space at my house, which is during my working time. I've already informed my colleagues, friends that this is the my working time, and I usually don't prefer to take personal calls during those periods, or anything which distracts me or let me to procrastinate on my focus area. So that's how I make sure that when I'm working, I'm working. In fact, I see a lot of benefits of during this period. As I said, that we are not commuting now, so we save a lot of time on commuting, especially in India. You can relate to it even better. And then other things like you get to see things like in office, we somehow take break. Colleagues was coming around and chatting with you. Plus, you get certain calls, you get some emails. So now it has been reduced drastically, correct? So all you have to do is focus on that key area which you want, and then lets you do it. But other thing which I've realized that initial days I was not talking to my team so frequently. But then off lately I started doing it, and then that's another area wherein every day you when you speak to them, you get new insight, and then you come to know what's their progress, what their challenges, and then you kind of help each other, support each other, uplift each other. So that's what has started happening. So that's how I keep my professional thing. And as far as the personal goes, when I'm out of work, done with my work, then I have got time for dedicated time for my little one to, because we can't take them out anywhere. So I just take them in the compound, where in my residential compound there's a small park. So I just spend every day that time, and then my 1 hour of practice, yoga practice. So every day 6 to 7 I practice in the evening. And then there are certain things which we do, like we go together and watch a kids movie or have a meal together and kind of things. And I call my parents and other stuff. So there's things which are kind of more in line with the daily schedule. So for me, it has not drastically changed, but yes, I'm keeping this work-life balance in the same way that I have structured the entire day. And I majorly 80% I follow the same schedule. Just sometimes due to urgencies, or sometimes I have Toastmaster meeting in the evening, or probably some other important calls which I have to attend on Saturdays. Then I skip. Otherwise, mostly I stick to the same schedule. And it's really easy now to stick to the schedule because you don't have much of outer activities or other engagements. So you are in control of your day mostly. So that's how I keep my work-life balance. But I have given slots for my professional, for my personal, for my health, for my kids. So I've defined those 4 or 5 areas, in fact, including my finances. Yeah. So 4 or 5 areas where I make sure that I spend that time on those areas and do the needful. And I've got my gratitude journal as well.
Wow, it seems like you have all of the right things going for you, Rohit, right from a gratitude journal to yoga to having the clear designated space for yourself, minimizing distractions, ensuring communication with the team. I think that's one of the ways to ensure that you have some balance where you're literally in a physical space, which is now co-used or cohabited with your family. So I think it's a nice one. I'm making notes of this as we speak.
Oh, that's great.
So it
Thank you.
also seems like life has shown us the best and not so best, again, in terms of COVID-19, as we are talking. And the only way to keep going is to stay optimistic and stay curious. Now, tell me about the things that you're curious about.
So, as I was saying, that we are collectively facing the same challenge. We may be facing it in a different way at a different time with different emotions, but all of us are in the same situation. So, I am now curious to see how this unfolds into a future. And as we are talking about living with COVID-19 as a new normal, I'm looking forward how fast we will adjust, probably adapt and align ourselves to recover quickly out of it. So that's what I'm curious about, that how things will shape up and how we'll adjust, adapt, align, and recover quickly out of it.
Going by the resilience that human beings have, I'm sure we'll bounce back only higher, Rohit.
Inshallah. So
So,
yeah.
with that, your last question, tell me about your leadership mantra. What is it that you believe in for yourself and others?
So that's like engage, encourage, empower. I've always been vouching for this mantra of mine. I believe in accountable for the advancements of your success. You need to be really, really engaged in whatever you are doing, truly, madly, deeply, and then encourage others to join you in the movement or the vision that you have, and understand them, their vision, their challenges, and of course, you need to empower each other to grow together. It's all about collaboration, and that's very significant as a leader.
Thank you so much, Rohit. Thank you for being open, being concise, and honest with your thoughts and your advices. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, and thank you so much for having it and giving me this opportunity. I hope this helps the listeners and everybody else. And I look forward to many more, interesting and insightful interviews or content that you share. Thank you so much for what you're doing. It's a great initiative.
Thank you for tuning in to Leadership Spotlight. To learn how you can go from learning to leading, visit www www.plethoralearning.com. See you next time.